to Tiffany Unpacks in Oregon. Woo! Today we are opening game box number 23. Let's do this. Well, one of these things is not a game. So right off the bat we see this. This was like one of the last boxes packed. So yeah. So this is my copy of the Enterprise original that somebody gives me. It's inflatable. It will be inflated and somewhere in this house. Though probably not right now. Who am I kidding? This has to be done. See, that needed to be done. Yay! Alright, this is not appropriate to have on camera. Okay, so this is like a mix of stuff. So these would be my motorcycle gloves from when I used to ride motorcycles. Important to have them. These are rings from soda bottles. These are really helpful in playing role-playing games or any games where you have to have status effects, because you can just drop these over the minifigs. So these are from my old D&D games. We have my little will doll, which we actually use as a turn denotator. So if you're holding the will, it's your turn. So it was really helpful for when we were playing Eclipse. We were playing a mega game of Eclipse with 6 players, and we would often be like, whose turn is it? And it was whoever was holding the will doll. And sometimes the person who was like, whose turn is it? Would be holding the will doll, so Will Wheaton doll. Useful even if you're not a massive fan of Will Wheaton. I don't know where this accent came from. So there are some games in here mixed in with things that aren't games. So we'll just start with Dungeon Roll. So this is my Kickstarter limited edition Mimic box Dungeon Roll. And yeah, Dungeon Roll is a fun rolling dice game for 1 to 4 players designed by Chris Darden that, yeah, it's dungeon delving. It's really good to play with your kids. It's really easy if you help them and read and stuff. You get cards if there's effects. It's really good for them. This is the regular edition of Dungeon Roll, and the lid is actually signed by the game developer, the designer, and the main illustrator. So yeah, and this copy of Dungeon Roll actually has all the promos that have come out to date and all of the expansions, and I believe I will be auctioning it off for a charity event sometime this year. So if you're interested in this, keep your eyes peeled. We also have my knitting. So knitting is a great activity. I used to knit a ton more than I currently do. Oh, these are the socks that I promised my mom I'd make her a year and a half ago. I used to knit a lot when I was playing D&D because as a player there was a lot of downtime, and I have a little bit of ADD, and so I find that it helps if I have something to do with my hands that's crafty that doesn't take too much mental focus. So knitting is really good for that. I haven't really knit a ton lately, but I still do have a lot of knitting projects that are around. I don't know, these are dice and they're scribbled on. I don't really know their story. Okay then. We also have something that is wrapped in paper, which means it's fragile. Oh, it's my bookend. So this little dude has a story. So he says "say cheese," and he's like a bust of a fantasy creature. And I got this little dude years ago. I was in middle school, and a really good friend of mine in middle school, her family was helping run this like local convention, and it was the first convention I ever went to, and I bought this gnome dude from my bookshelf. and it was just a general fantasy convention, but yeah, he has come with me a long way through life, and he helps hold up my books, and he reminds me of kind of where my nerd loveness of conventions started. So I'm happy to have him back to hold up my books. Right, onto the board games. So we have right here the Struggle for Catan, which is a 2 to 4 player game. Takes about 30 minutes to play, and it is my favorite version of Catan. So you basically can play Settlers of Catan in 30 minutes with 2 to 4 players with this card game, and it's fun. I really enjoy it. The box size is way too big because it's the same box that they do for their expansions, the 3 to 5 player expansions, you know? Like it's even the same insert for the Rivals of Catan, because Mayfair likes to reuse their inserts and box sizes if they can. I really like this game. I'm probably going to attempt to do a box reduction similar to what Eric Martin taught on the board game channel, and hey, maybe I'll do that and then show you guys, because I obviously have the knife needed to do it, so I think that would be a good one for that one. Then we have another Memoir 44 pack. This is the Eastern Frontier, or Eastern Front rather. So like I said videos ago, I got Steve Memoir 44, a really nice collection from Chevy Dodd. He sold that collection to me for Steve for his birthday, and so Steve and I are slowly playing through Memoir 44, and maybe we'll do like a video series about it or something. I think that would be interesting if we did some sort of like campaign video series. So I need to organize all that. Then we have Compounded, woo, which was designed by Daryl Lauder, published by Dice 8 Me Games. This is a game about being in chemistry stuff, and I haven't played it yet because I'm a bad person. A friend gave me this game, and I really want to play it. Another one of my friends has played this game, and then when he saw that I had it, he was like, oh, of course you would have that game, because that game was like made for you. So I am super excited to play it. Super excited to see what it's all about. The only reason it hasn't gotten to the table was because the play count time is pretty high on the box. It's 30 to 90 minutes for 2 to 5 players. So yeah, Steve and I will probably learn a 2-player version, and then we'll play it with more people. It's usually how we do things. Infiltration! So I guess this is Steve's game. I don't know much about this, but I guess this is a 2 to 6 player game, 30 to 40 minutes. You're basically all runners. It's basically Netrunner, except for you're all making runs, so you're all the hackers. I guess. I don't really know, but I do know that the rules aren't in it because Steve has a bad habit of taking board game rules out of their boxes. So let me just put those back in there. What is this? Okay. Just reapply that for him. Bam. Alright. Speaking of Netrunner, this is not Eclipse. This is not the Eclipse Rise of the Ancients expansion. No! This is Steve's Netrunner cards. So Steve likes to repurpose boxes. So these are all of his Netrunner cards, which they're actually really nicely organized. He's got all his Corp on one side and all his Runner on the others. So yeah, there you go. That's his Netrunner collection. Steve and I really like Netrunner. It was one of the games that we first played when we were dating together. This is my Netrunner collection, and I will show you. I am using the Broken Token card organizer thing for my Netrunner, so it's nicely sorted. I mean, Steve's is nicely sorted, but it's not as nicely sorted. So I have runner on one side and corp on the other. Steve and I have a deal where we are allowed to get Netrunner packs if we buy one for the other person. So our collections are consistently the same. So Steve and I have, we each have identical copies of sets so that we can basically, between the two of us, we can basically build anything. And we do borrow cards from each other's collections when we want to deck build and stuff. We haven't really had a lot of time to sit and deck build, but it is definitely something that both of us are very interested in doing. I really do enjoy deck building, and I really want to play more Netrunner, and so does Steve. And so now that we are home and mostly unpacked, I think Netrunner is going to become one of those activities that we just kind of like do on a lazy Sunday, which I think is fabulous, because couples that net run together stay together. Saying I just came up with. But that's it for this game box, which was kind of a hodgepodge of things. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Tiffany Unpacks in Oregon. And well, this was one of the last boxes that packed. Sadly, it is not one of the last boxes to go through. We still have a good number in there because I personally don't know what episode this is because I'm not keeping track in my head, but I know there are going to be 24 episodes at least, so there you go. Until next time, see ya!